Hello everyone, myself Dr. Sneha Bhatia, MPT in Orthopedics and Sports Rehabilitation, in charge principal at late Srimati S.G. Patel Institute of Physiotherapy. Today my lecture will be on hip joint examination. So before I start with my lecture, I would like to request all my audience who have yet not subscribed to my YouTube channel. So please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the next video. So hip pain may be referred to sacroiliac joints or the lumbar spine. So assessment of the lumbar spine and sacroiliac joint should be performed along with the hip joint. Careful examination of these three areas. Three areas means the lumbar spine, the sacroiliac joint and the hip joint. All these three areas should be assessed and evaluated. Bilateral examination should be done. That means if the patient is coming to you with pain on the right side of the hip joint, then also the left side of the hip joint should be assessed. So bilateral examination should be done and both the sides should be compared. Active movements, most painful ones are done at last. So for example, if the patient is having extreme pain in the hip extension range of motion, then hip extension should be done at the last. Why we are doing it at the last is because if we do the most painful movement at the first itself, then later on the patient won't be able to do or perform other movements. So keep the movement of the patient to a minimum. Some tests should be done in the supine position and other tests are done in the prone position. Examiner should follow the sequence or the order of the test. Repetitive movements, sustained posture or combined movements, if they have caused the symptoms of the patient, then we have to also check for the repetitive movements, sustained posture and combined movements. For example, sustained extension of the hip may provoke gluteal pain in the presence of claudication in the common or internal iliac artery. So we have to ask the patient to sustain a particular movement if it is causing pain, and then we have to provoke the pain and assess the joint. Range of motion, active movements of the hip joint, flexion is around 110 to 120 degrees, extension is around 10 degrees to 15 degrees, abduction is around 30 to 50 degree, adduction is around 30 degrees, medial rotation is 40 to 60 degree, lateral rotation is around 40 to 60 degree and medial rotation is around 30 to 40 degree. Sustained postures, repetitive movements and combined movements, all these three can be checked if it is necessary and if it is causing the patient's pain. So flexion of the hip, supine position, the flexion can be checked with the flex knee. The range of motion for the flexion of the hip is around 110 to 120 degrees. If the anterior superior iliac spine ASIS begin to move, the movement is stopped as pelvic rotation is occurring rather than the hip flexion. If sharp growing pain is elicited on flexion and medial rotation, impingement of the femoral neck against it indicates the impingement of the femoral neck against the acetabular rim. Extension of the hip joint, it is checked in the prone position. The range for the extension of the hip is around 0 to 15 degrees. Examiner have to differentiate between the spinal extension and hip extension. Elevation of the pelvis or superior movement of the posterior superior iliac spine indicates the patient has passed the end of the hip extension. Next is hip abduction. It is around 30 to 50 degrees. It is checked in the supine position. ASIS being level, so we have to check whether ASIS are on the equal level on both the side. Ask the patient to abduct one leg at a time. Abduction is stopped when the pelvis begins to move, and pelvic motion is detected by palpation of the ASIS and by telling the patient to stop the movement as soon as the ASIS on either side starts to move. Normally the ASIS on the movement side will elevate while the opposite ASIS may drop or even elevate. Next is hip adduction movement. It is around 30 degrees. We have to check the hip adduction movement in the supine position. So again in this while checking this movement also pelvis should not move. Flex the opposite side knee and hold it in flexion. So opposite side limb can be holding in flexion while the patient performs the adduction movement. Another way to check hip abduction is the opposite side leg also can do abduction movement and leave the leg in the abduction and then check the hip adduction on the opposite side. During motion, ASIS on the same side moves first. So there are two ways to check the hip adduction movement. In one method, the patient can be in supine lying and he is flexing the opposite side hip and knee so that other leg can perform the hip adduction movement. And the second way to check it is, if we are going to check hip adduction for the right side, then ask the patient to abduct the left side of the hip and leave the left side of the hip in abducted movement, and then ask the patient to perform hip adduction on the right side. So this is the picture showing hip range of movement. In picture A we can see hip flexion movement. In picture B we can see patient is in prone position, he is performing hip extension movement. In picture C we can see that patient is in supine position and he is performing hip abduction movement. In picture D we can see that the patient is in again supine position, he is performing the hip adduction movement. So rotation movements, it can be checked in supine position, it can be checked in prone position, or it can be even checked in sitting position. Medial rotation normally ranges from 30 degree to 40 degree and lateral rotation ranges from 40 degrees to 60 degrees. So this is the picture. In first picture you can see the patient is in supine position. Internal rotation, when the lower leg is moving towards outside and moving away from the body. And again, if the person tries to move the lower leg towards the body or towards the midline of the body, that will be external rotation. In picture F you can see the patient is in prone position, and again in the prone position internal rotation as well as external rotation both can be checked. So passive movement examination, we have to determine through passive movement examination the end field and the passive range of motion. So if certain movements were not possible during active range of motion examination, then we have to perform passive movement examination. All the movements except extension can be tested with the patient in the supine lying position. So only for the hip extension we have to put the patient into prone position. Rest all the movements can be performed in the supine position. Capsular pattern of the hip is flexion, abduction and medial rotation. These movements are always the ones most limited in a capsular pattern. So remember, capsular pattern of restriction is there, then the patient will have limitation in the hip flexion, hip abduction and medial rotation of the hip. Order of restriction may vary, so it is not necessary that in all hip pathology this capsular pattern of restriction will be seen. The order can change also in different conditions. So pelvis should not move. Again, when we are checking for the passive movement examination, pelvis should not move while performing the hip movements. Groin discomfort and limited range of motion indicates hip problems. Passive hip flexion, adduction and medial rotation, if it is painful, may indicate acetabular rim problems or labral tears. Clicking sound and pain into the groin is also elicited. Intra-abdominal inflammation in the lower pelvis, passive medial and lateral rotation of the hip when the patient is supine with the hip and knee at 90 degrees. So if the patient is having intra-abdominal inflammation in the lower pelvis, then if we do passive medial and lateral rotation of the hip when the patient is in supine position and the hip and knee is flexed at 90 degrees, then patient may have pain. So end field examination, passive movements of the hip and normal end field. So flexion, hip flexion is having tissue approximation or tissue stretch. Hip extension is having tissue stretch end field. Hip abduction has tissue stretch. Hip adduction has tissue approximation or tissue stretch. Medial rotation end field is tissue stretch, and lateral rotation again end field is tissue stretch. So reference for today's video, I have taken the content from the book Orthopedic Physical Assessment, David Magee. So Indian tricolor was reflected on the mountain in Switzerland. ना हिंदू बुरा है ना मुसलमान बुरा है, जो बुराई पर उतरा है वो इंसान बुरा है. So united we fight and united we win against COVID-19 outbreak. Thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed watching this video, then please subscribe my channel, share it with your friends, ask them to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the next video. Thank you.